background to use, but well, good. I have never done a computer generated live on YouTube, but I wanted to say a few words about restorative justice and the 12 steps of You Know What Anonymous. When I first heard about restorative justice, it really resonated with me because they were bringing like equality to the field of offenders and victims. They weren't doing the separation consciousness gig, and this victim mentality stuff that tends to generate a lot of pity for people that have been, victims of crime, and they certainly are victims of crime, and they deserve our utmost respect and compassion. But I don't think the average victim wants your pity. I've also noticed that most offenders don't want your pity either. They might want compassion just like any other human being. And, when a person is offended against or is an offender and they have a chance to sit down with the people or person who has offended against them or whom they've offended against, and then have people there also that were impacted by, let's say, a crime. That opportunity allows a very peculiar type of growth that probably can't happen any other way. And a mediator generally will not allow people to beat each other up, verbally, emotionally, and certainly not physically. And there's an equity there that is really profound. So in the 12 steps, the 9th step says that we make direct amends to people we've harmed wherever possible or whenever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. So in an effort to unload our sense of guilt, we don't have a right to just like puke our pain on people. And it's the same with victims. They're in pain, they're in grief, sometimes significant grief. And but in a healing circle, it's about the healing. And sometimes you got to say what's on your heart. And there's a right way and a wrong way to do that. But I love how they set it up to where the offender, maybe for the first time in their life, has an opportunity to see how their crime impacted another human being. Because I think oftentimes offenders don't even humanize the victims. They just think, oh, insurance will cover the crime, or they're just they'll be okay, they'll get over it, or they don't even think that far into it sometimes. And I when I saw that Washington County was offering a mediation training opportunity, I jumped on it. And I think I was working for Washington County with the Court Services Department at the time as a sentence to service driver. And, we'd take out DWI offenders, small time offenders, and we'd bring them out to the field. Sometimes they could have more of a crime than just, a DWI or something, And I shouldn't call DWIs crime. Yeah, sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. Depends on the number of times they do it. But they would have exposure to doing service work rather than just punishment. They get out of their cell for the day and they get to help someone. Could be a person that can't mow their own lawn anymore, or they could be picking up trash on the side of the road, which oftentimes I think the community has noticed people doing. They might be cutting down trees, or I remember bringing out so-called offenders. That's not even my favorite word, by the way, to the fields and clearing fields of like briars and brambles and things, and planting wild flowers. And they could come back the next year when they've long since put their sentence behind them and see the wild flowers growing. and they see that they've planted beauty where there was pain in their lives, and they did something good for other human beings. And I think that beautifies the person that does that type of service work. And likewise, if I see a victim plant a seed of forgiveness in the heart of the person that offended against them, that might grow into a beautiful field of service work in who used to be an offender. It might change their life, and redirect them. And it was a powerful, powerful episode of forgiveness that I witnessed in a victim when I was sober for 90 days, and it just totally changed the path I was on, you know. And I don't suspect anyone is going to step in on my live presentation here, but I didn't announce it. I didn't prepare for it, and but this was on my mind when I saw a video on YouTube. It was actually some years ago that I saw it, but it's about entering the circle and bringing restorative justice to California prison. And I've seen many restorative justice videos through the years. I think my training was in, I don't even know what year that was, 92, 94. I don't even remember anymore. It's been a long time. But I felt welcomed by Washington County to provide this type of service work as a past offender myself. I'm an ex-convict, and I'm sorry for the things that I've done wrong, and I've done everything I can within my knowledge base to try to make a difference in the world. I've spoken on Mothers Against Drunk Driving impact panels. I did that for 28 years. I'd still do it again. But I kind of stepped out on my own for the last 4 years and thought, I want to be able to say things that maybe I couldn't quite say in a MAD panel. And I got to tell you, in MAD, they were very, very allowing of anything I wanted to say for the most part. But, occasionally there'd be some backlash. And I saw MAD going through changing of the guard through the years. And I didn't want to try to heal paths in the way that took many years to heal before. And I just thought, that battle is going to have to be for someone younger within MAD to do, because I'm not as young as I used to be, and I need to really hone my focus, And I don't think anyone has a right to tell someone else what their grieving timeline should be. It can be for the rest of your life, who knows? If you love someone, you might miss them for the rest of your life. But I'm very strong on the forgiveness model. And people forgive when they forgive. But if we can get to the root of the problem about why people offend in the first place, we might be able to not have more victims, So sometimes forgiving an offender might be the biggest weapon we have in our arsenal to prevent new victims. So there you go. Wanted to keep this under 9 minutes, and I am so doing. Some message I usually give out is, if you don't tell at least 3 people a day that you love them, you've probably wasted a day of your life. So go out and make the world a better place to live in. I love you. Peace out.